Dear students, welcome to the virtual learning platform of Shri Guru Sudhindra College. This is the Java program number 9, program to demonstrate the multi-threading concept. So as you all are aware, multi-threading is a very important concept in Java which we have discussed already. In multi-threading, what we do is we divide the whole program into the smaller program, and individual program we call it as threads, or you can even call it as LWPs, the lightweight processes. Now let me demonstrate the program in detail. Uh, at first, okay, so the main prime part of the program is this public class thread state. So thread state is the main primary class of this particular program. Implements runnable, as and when there is a word implement, it shows we are using interfaces. What do you mean by interface? Interface is again, it is linked to multiple inheritance. In case in Java, if you want to implement multiple inheritance directly, it is not possible. So what you have to do is you have to achieve it using interfaces. Now to use interface, you need we are going to use a concept, a keyword called implements, right? Implements. Extends is used for inheritance. Implements, the keyword is used for interfaces, right? Now public class thread state implements runnable. Now let us see what runnable is later. Public static thread t1, public static thread state obj. Okay, so here what we are doing is we are creating the object, then we are creating the thread. Using that particular object we are creating the thread. Now here link it to this particular line, public static thread state obj is equals to new thread state, right? So this is obj, the obj object is created. Now we need to create a thread, public static thread t1 is equals to new thread of obj. Using this particular obj I am creating the thread. So in this particular program, using these 4 lines, I have created a thread. Okay, the thread is been created. Now system.out.println, the state of the thread t1 is equals to t1.getState. For every thread there are various states. Hope you already studied, understand, and you know the thread life cycle. It has got a new state, it has got a ready state, it has got a running state, right? Blocked state. There are various states. Now here we are trying to understand, we are trying to know what is the status of the thread current position or current status. The state of the thread t1 is equals to t1.getState. So getState is a method used to get the state of this particular thread. So t1 is a thread, getState means it's a method used to know the state of the status of this particular thread. Okay, now at first I'll check the state of the thread t1. Then what I'll do is I'll start the thread. t1.start means start the thread. Once you start the thread, again I want to know its state. Okay, see these 3 lines, easily I can through output I can demonstrate you very easily these 3 lines. The state of the thread t1 is equals to new, as and when you create the thread, what will be the status? The state is new state. Then I am going to start. Okay, once you start, what happens? Automatically it goes from new state to runnable state, right? See here, this is a new state. Now it has changed, the state has changed from new state to runnable state. This part, this is the new state, right? As and when you start the thread, it enters the runnable mode. So t1.get statement, it is a runnable. Now similarly here one more thread is created using another object called my object, and using there is another class using which another thread is created here. Thread t2 is equals to new thread of my object. For first thread we have used object, for the second thread it is my object. For first thread, right, obj is equals to the same thread state itself is used here, but for the second thread we are using another class called abc class. abc class is used and my object thread is created. Now the name of the thread is t2. Once again I will apply the same method. t2 get state, t2 start, t2 get state. Let me show you the output. T2 state. What is the going to be the new state? Initially, it is in the new state. Now, as and when you start, it enters the runnable mode. So it's the runnable state, right? Now, what we did is currently, what is the status of the program? We have created through two threads, T1 and T2. Both the threads we have started. After starting the thread, what we did? We have focused on its status, right? Before starting and after starting, we traced its status, right? Okay. Now, once that is done, now what I'm doing is I'm applying one more method for this. Thread dot sleep. Now, what is the sleep? Sleep is a method to suspend a thread for a particular time. I want to make our thread to sleep. So why we make our thread to sleep? Because in case if the resources are not available, or in case if there is a congestion, or if there is any some sort of issues, right? So under that circumstances, I want my thread to wait for a time being, and here I am making my thread to wait for 200, right? So 1000 means 1 second. So here I have taken the 20% of that, it is just 200. Thread dot sleep 200. Now, as and when you use this particular method, better to enclose it within try and catch block, right? In try and catch block, thread dot sleep is used. This is for the first thread. Now, similarly here also I am using the similar method, and for second thread also I am applying the same method, thread dot sleep. But there it was for T1, but here now we are using it for T2. First thread, I'll make it to sleep for 200, and here also I'll make it to sleep for 200. Now during that particular execution, I want to know what is its status. Thread T1 timed waiting, right? So as and when the thread is in a sleeping state, automatically what will be the mode? Mode is waiting, right? It is waiting for some sort of resources. It is waiting for time counter to execute. So thread T1's status is waiting. Thread T2, the status is waiting. Once everything is done, what happens finally, right? The state of the thread T2, when it is completed, the execution terminated, right? See, this entire program, it illustrates the multi-threaded concept. There are two threads which we are using, and we are demonstrating the individual threads status. Initially it enters the new state, then the runnable, again the new, again runnable. Now both are in waiting state, and finally the thread 2 we are just terminating and we are displaying it. So this is the program which illustrates the multi-threaded programming. So multi-thread, a thread is nothing but our LWP, the lightweight process. In a program, we are going to use multiple threads, and these multiple threads we are going to run. So for this particular concept, the multiple threads are used here, and for individual thread, we are trying to assess the state of the thread. We are going to display the state of the thread, and finally, then we manipulate and we display. So this is about the program on multi-threading. Dear students, the program is already shared through Google Classroom. Please go through the program in detail, execute the program. If there are any queries, please feel free to approach. Happy programming. Good day. Take care.